Park in 2K used to feel special. From running games in the 21 court to being able to create your own t-shirt to an unforgettable legend grind that actually felt rewarding. Somewhere along the way, that feeling faded and Park slowly turned into just another mode, a shell of what it once was. So today, we're looking at 10 things that made Park feel special.
Number 10.
At number 10, we have pure chaos. There was a time when loading into Park just felt different, and you genuinely had no idea what you were about to see. One second, you're running a normal threes game, and the next, you'd run into a guy who face scanned his pet giraffe. But that was just the start of it. You still had legend threes kicking you off the got next, Steph Curry's layup touching the sky and dropping in, or even dudes flying into the park on a helicopter. And we can't forget about the box heads. The guys whose face scans were literally a box, and they took up the whole screen. So you were just spamming buttons and hoping for the best the whole game. And when you played back then, you genuinely had no idea what your next matchup was going to look like or who was about to pull up on the got next. And you'd hop on for one game and somehow end up playing for hours because you simply just couldn't get enough. Unlike now where everyone uses the same builds and they're probably shooting 90% from three. Back then, it might have been a little broken and definitely super cheese, but in a weird way, that's what made it so fun and gave us an experience that we'll never forget. But that wasn't the only thing that made Park different.
Number 9.
At number 9, we have the t-shirt creator. In some of the older 2Ks, you could actually create your own t-shirt, and you could basically make any t-shirt that you could imagine. Whether it was designer brands, your favorite rapper, or something that probably shouldn't have been in the game at all. And you'd pull up to the court to play, and you'd instantly see a shirt that you wanted. And that's what made it so great. The possibilities were endless, and the best part, you didn't have to spend all your VC just to look cool. And at one point, you could buy every single one for free. But once people realized 2K wasn't censoring things very well, things got pretty out of control. And eventually, the feature was removed. And now, you can go broke just trying to buy a hoodie and some shorts. What used to feel creative and fun now feels expensive and restricted. But it also goes to show you that even when 2K does some things right, the community sometimes ruins them for everyone. But it wasn't just what you wore.
Number 8.
At number 8, we have Park exclusives. Back then, Park didn't just look different, it also felt different. Whether it was the crazy passes you were throwing, the ridiculous Park size ups, or the dunks that would get blocked half the time, but looked so insane when they landed. Those weren't just random animations, they were exclusive to Park. And then you also had Park badges. Badges that were only activated in Park, and you could only earn them by playing Park games, giving you yet another reason to play other than grinding for rep. And then there was the really cheese ones, and that was the Park cards. As cheese as they were, they added a random element that made matchups feel different every single time. And you can't forget about the post-game celebrations that you couldn't wait to get, so after you beat your opponent, you could run up to them and celebrate right in their face. And these made Park feel like a completely different experience that wasn't like any other mode in the game, and it kept you coming back to play more. And it wasn't just how you played, it was where you played.
Number 7.
At number 7, we have the old Park format. Something people have missed ever since they added the neighborhood is how simple Park used to be. It was just courts, and they were always running, and sometimes the parks would even hit max players. You'd load straight into your affiliated park, and if you wanted to go to a different park, or even the rec center, you could do that with just the push of a button. The only thing in your way was the servers and a loading screen. But the most important part of all, the game actually felt alive, and sometimes if you had a win streak, people would surround the court just to watch you play. These types of things just made you want to keep playing and grind the game longer, knowing that so many other players were doing the exact same thing. And to be honest, it showed us something. Sometimes simple is better, but there was something much more important than the courts back then.
Number 6.
At number 6, we have the community. Back then, Park wasn't just a mode. It was something you wanted to be a part of. And being good at 2K actually felt like it mattered. And a big reason for that was the creators that made the game feel special. Whether it was Pretty Boy Fredo turning a regular Park game into an event, So Illuminati making every single game feel personal, or Troydan playing with some questionable teammates.
I give that good D, and I get buckets.
Those moments made you want to play, and you genuinely wanted to get better because you saw how far it was getting some of these people in the community. And it didn't just inspire people to play, it inspired a whole wave of creators to start making 2K content themselves. Back then, the community brought the game to levels it probably will never touch again. And now, a lot of the creators that made the era special have simply moved on. Not because they stopped caring, but because the game just doesn't feel the same anymore. And nothing brought that community together quite like this did.
Number 5.
At number 5, we have Rival Days. The original Rival Days were on a completely different level. All year long, people would grind for wins for their affiliations. And at the end of the cycle, the top 2 affiliations would face off for the MyPark championship. And the winner didn't just get bragging rights. They got rewarded with a brand new park, something we had never seen before. And that made every single Rival Day feel way more important. And more importantly, it gave you yet another reason to play Park, simply because everybody wanted their affiliation to get that new park, which caused people to become very loyal to their their affiliations, as well as making them feel way more important than they actually were. And even though 2K has tried to bring similar ideas back, nothing has ever really matched what the original felt like. And if you think about it, that's Park in general. But not every great memory needed an affiliation.
Number 4.
At number 4, we have the 21 court. At one point in Park, you could actually play 21, and it honestly made a lot of sense. If you've ever played basketball in real life, chances are you've played 21 at some point, whether it was at school or in your driveway. So when 2K added it into Park, it honestly felt like it belonged. For solo players, you didn't have to wait on teammates or rely on them at all, which was definitely nice because we know how much randoms sell. You could just hop on and play, and it gave you something to do even if none of your friends were online, or if you didn't have any friends at all. And if your friends were online and they started talking trash, you could step on the court and settle it right there. And this court definitely had some cheesy moments, like when you could pump fake off the inbound for an easy bucket, or what almost everyone started doing, which was stealing the inbound over and over again. And I mean, those could have been easily fixed, but instead 2K decided to remove the court altogether. And the 21 court is still something that a lot of players miss to this day. And when you stepped on the court back then,
Number 3.
and number 3, we have when skill actually mattered. Back then, you didn't need to be a 99 overall to compete. If you knew what you were doing, you could step on the court and hold your own even as a low overall. If you knew how to time your shot, make the right passes, and defend the cheese, then you were competitive. And when someone was known in the park, it wasn't because they had a broken build, it was because they were tough to beat. And it was pretty common for people to save clips if they scored on popular players or beat them all together. You'd load into the park, see the leaderboards pop up, and if someone was at the top of one of those, it actually felt special, and almost everyone respected it. Now, when you see somebody at the top of a leaderboard, you know they are most likely cheating, and because of that, the leaderboards lose a lot of meaning, and then that kills your motivation to play the game at all, knowing that the only way to the top is cheating. But back then, if you were nice, the whole park knew, and that reputation only mattered because of this.
Number 2.
And number 2, we have the legend grind. Back when rep actually meant something, back then, even something as small as hitting Legend 1 felt special, because that's when you could finally take your shirt off. It sounds small now, but nothing will ever replace that feeling of hitting Legend 1, knowing you could finally go shirtless. Because it wasn't just cosmetic, it symbolized the grind. When someone stepped on the court shirtless, you instantly knew how much time they put in, and also that they were probably pretty decent at the game. And then of course, we had the mascots. This was back when mascots actually meant something, before they became just another reward you unlock through a battle pass. If someone pulled up in one, you knew it wasn't bought, they actually earned it, and you knew just how much it took to get one, so you respected them. But also, knowing that they were a higher rep, it made you want to beat them even more. You could look at someone and knew exactly what they had put into the game, and like I said, it usually showed just how good they were. And that grind gave Park an identity, and it gave people something real to chase all year outside of everything else. And people who went through that original grind will always remember what it felt like to finally hit Legend. So what could possibly be number 1?
Number 1.
At number 1, we have Park After Dark. The lights, the vibes, Snoop Dogg DJing, and of course, we can't forget the lag, the delay. This mode sucked.
Number 1. For real this time.
And number 1, we have the original affiliations. It honestly kind of felt like 2K added gangs to Park. You defended your home court, and when you pulled up to a rival park, you weren't just playing a random game, you were there to show them that they chose the wrong affiliation. And each park even had its own identity on the court. Sunset gave you a boost for shooting, Old Town was more playmaking and flashy moves to show off, and Rivet was more of that prison style ball and helped with athleticism and even had some chain nets. And these boosts honestly never felt like much at all, but it gave each park its own style, and that made every matchup feel personal. When rivals came around, it felt like you were going to war for your affiliation, and that made us loyal while making the other parks our rival. And when you add in the things like the MyPark Championship and the rival days that we brought up earlier, it just goes to show you how something so small as affiliations can give the game so much more purpose. And those of us lucky enough to play during that time experienced something that we'll never forget, and that is 10 things that made Park special. Which one do you miss the most? Let me know in the comments. The love on these videos lately has been crazy. I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate every single one of you. Have a great day, and remember, stay saucy.
Can you let me out of the cage now? Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar.